Welcome back. We're here to get into the next lab here. This is going to be lab two, symbolizing features. So make sure that you've already downloaded the data for the lab two Canvas module. After you've downloaded, create a folder named triangle underscore map. And this is all in the instruction that we've written for you. You want to locate the zip file that you downloaded and extract the data from that zip file into your triangle underscore map folder. You have to unzip files to see the files in the folders and use them in ArcGIS Pro. Once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and start ArcGIS Pro. I've already got mine open over here. Go ahead and start and make sure you're logged in over here. And we're going to start out the same way that we start out all of our stuff here. We're going to go ahead and create a new blank map. So we'll just click this here. We're going to call this lab 2, and we're going to locate where we want to put this. And I'm going to put it right here in the labs folder. So we'll click that, go hit OK. We see that it's the labs folder. It's going to create us a new folder for the project. We'll go ahead and click OK. And a new map is going to be drawn. ArcGIS Pro and GIS products like this, they require a connection. And we've talked about the connections previously. Basically, you have to tell ArcGIS where you want to locate the data that's within your that's on your computer. So how we're going to do this? We are going to we'll follow along with the instructions here. It says click view and click the catalog pane. So click view, go into catalog. Here we go. Here's the catalog pane, and then we're going to click folders and add folder connection. So we're going to click folders, right click on that, and add folder connection. You want to add the folder where your data is stored, right? All of my data, go ahead and click this. We're going to locate that folder here. I believe all of my data is stored in a folder called labs, right? So I'm going to click on labs. Labs is going to appear right here. We're looking for folders, not files, right? We're trying to connect to a folder that contains all of our data. And just to step back a second, if we double click this, we can see that I've got folders created for all of our labs for this course. And in each of these folders, I will place the data, right? So when ArcGIS asks me, or I want to add data to a project, it's going to look in this labs folder, right? So we're going to make a connection to the labs folder. And then we'll have access to all the data within that folder. So you really don't want to, you could, double click on, lab 2 here, but then you'll have to go in and do that for every single project. So we're going to go back one. We're going to make labs available. That will make the data within labs available for all of our future projects. You don't have to set it up like this, but that's the best way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. We see that labs appears under my folders here, right? Let's see. It says in the new window, navigate to the folder. Okay, we've got the extracted data. Only select this folder. Do not open the folder. We're only connecting to a folder, not to a specific file. Let's see here. We're going to go into labs, and then lab 2, and we're going to try to locate that data, right? So I've got a folder here called triangle map. We drop that down, we can see lab triangle community. Let's see, I'm looking in the instruction here, and it says drop down the arrow next to folders, basically where we are now. Drop down lab triangle community, and we're going to see the data that we're going to use for this lab. We've got 5 shape files right here. And so first we're going to drag parks into our map window. So we just click on it. You can double click on it if you want it, but I just find it's faster just to drag it into the project. Let's drag it there. And we see that we've got our topo map here. We're going to go ahead and turn that off because that's going to get in the way of our map. That drags over. I dragged over the parks layer here. And we see that we've got, in the table of contents, it says parks right here, and then our topographic map is turned off. And this is the drawing order, list by drawing order. It's a good idea to make sure that you're in drawing order. Sometimes when you add other files, and we'll get into that later in a later tutorial, but it'll switch over to list by source. So make sure that you're always in list by drawing order here. So that's number 7. Number 8 says to click the colored symbol below parks to open the symbol selector. And that's this right here. And I mouse over and it says click to modify symbol. Pretty easy, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click it. And so we're going to use the search bar up here to look for a color that's suitable for our park. So I'm going to type park. There we go. Park. Enter. We've got a variety of colors here. ArcGIS, names these symbols. I'm going to go ahead and click the first one here, park, and we'll see that it applies this light green color here. And so let's go back into contents, and we'll see that it changed that that symbol color right here. So it displays well, but we want to add a boundary on it to separate it from other landscapes that are going to be around us. So we're going to click properties here, and we're going to change the outline color. You do that by just clicking on this color chip right here. We're going to change the outline color to fur green. Yay, I found it the first try. I don't know how Esri names these colors, but if you mouse over it, you'll see fur green is right there. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over and 6 down. So we'll select fur green, and that's going to be the outline. We're going to hit apply. We'll change the outline width to 1 point. We'll see that that changed the symbol right here. If we click apply, see that it comes up in our map right here. And so that's number 10. It says next you'll add a layer for the streets around the triangle community. So we're going to go into the catalog pane. We're going to go ahead and add streets over here. We'll see our streets appear. It says navigate back to the table of contents. Open the symbol selector for streets. And the symbology pane should usually appear down here. You don't have to go back and forth between contents, catalog, and symbology. You can just go ahead and click on symbology as long as it knows you're working in streets. But we're going to change the symbology of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on gallery. And we're going to choose the first major road symbol. Let's go ahead and click this one here. That's going to change the color, the symbology of our roads around our park. All right, so next we'll add the triangle that separates the community from the surrounding area. By now you should be familiar with this, but we'll just go back in the catalog, click on triangle, and drag it into the map window. We see that this polygon appeared right here. This represents triangle. We can see it in the table of contents. It's called triangle. If triangle appears here, we talked about this a little bit. If triangle appeared here, watch what happens to the streets within those triangles. It's obscured, right? We don't want that there. We want this here or here. We don't want our parks obscured. We want to see where the parks are. We don't want our roads obscured, right? So we're going to drag that triangle all the way to the bottom. Number 14 in the instructions says to open the symbol selector for triangle. So click that. We'll just search brown. enter. And we see that two two selections here. It's not brown, it's sepia and sienna. Um, we're going to go ahead and select sepia for this. I think that will appear best underneath or against this the parks and the streets. And that's pretty much that. We're going to add a layer of camera poles to ensure the park is close to security cameras. So number 15 says add the camera pole feature class to the map. Click on camera poles, drag it in, and here we have points for our cameras. And these points are okay, but there's symbology that makes it a little more intuitive when you look at a map. We're going to go ahead and go into contents. We'll click on this pole right here. And we're going to open the symbol selector. We're going to go into here. Make sure this says all styles right here. And we're going to search for camera. Type camera and hit enter. See, there is a symbology. There's symbology for camera tower. So we'll click that, and it disappeared on our map. Here's why. In the properties, our size is just too small to be seen. So we're going to change this to 24. You can see this right here. If we commit 24, makes it larger. We hit apply, and we see that we have camera towers on here. All pretty easy stuff. Let's go ahead and save. Make sure our data is saved on here. And let's go back into our table of contents. We've got one more layer to add here, I believe. And in our instructions, it says in the above steps, all of the layers had the same maker symbol, and all of the camera poles were drawn in one shape, and that's true. All of our roads were drawn in the same color. All of our parks are drawn in the same color. Camera towers are all drawn in the same shape. Same with our triangle. You can vary how these are drawn, though, based on information in the attribute table. You can symbolize a polygon layer of cities according to their names. Each feature would have a unique color because the city has a unique name. You could symbolize states by their political systems. That's how our electoral maps are drawn. In the red and the blue, it's just classified for, a state that votes Democratic or a state that votes Republican. They're classified, if Democratic, if a state votes majority Democratic, its color will be blue. And so that's basically what we're going to do here. Attributes that have names or descriptions are called categorical attributes. They're usually text, but sometimes they're numbers. Sometimes they're population ranges. It just depends. It's important to keep these differences in mind when you're working in GIS and creating your own map. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to number 17, add parcels feature layer or feature class to the map. Click and drag that across, and we see that a bunch of parcels have appeared in the triangle community. Just going to scoot this down just a little bit so we can see all of the triangle here. Parks are down here at the bottom. So what we want to do is we want to create symbology for these parcels based on whether or not the parcels are public or private. So let's go back into the table of contents for number 18. We're going to examine the parcels and look at the attribute table for it, right? So we'll right click and we'll go to attribute table. If you need to, you can adjust this attribute table however you'd like to read it. And the instruction asks us to look at the prop type field. That's this field here. And we see we've got two different types. We've got R, which is residential, and B, which is business, public and private. business is considered public, and residential is considered private. And so we're going to choose different symbology for each property type, so we can look at our map and say, hey, I know by this color here, this is a residential property, and I know by this color here, it's a business property. So let's go ahead and close the attribute table, and we'll right-click on parcels, and we're going to go in and we're going to hit symbology. Go back into the symbology. Number 20 in our instruction says in the drop-down menu here, we're going to change this to unique values. Okay, so this screwed up this stuff right here, right? That's okay. Number 21 says the window will change to allow you to symbolize according to an attribute. Next, field 1, we're going to choose the field prop type, because that's what we're going to be basing it on. Remember, prop type contains R or B, residential or business. We're going to go ahead and click that, and we see that the B and the R appear right here. This all other values, useful in some applications, not for most of what we do here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on more. We're going to uncheck show all other values. That isolates it to just these right here. So that's number 21. Number 22, it says click the symbol to the left of B. And in the symbol selector, we'll go to the properties at the top of the pane. We're going to change this color to gray 10%. This should be gray 10%. We'll click apply. That's going to change all of the B's, the businesses, to this light gray. Covered in on number 23 of the instruction. We're going to go ahead and click on this to go back to our primary symbology, and we will click on this here, change the color of our, or the symbology of our residential. So we'll click on this color chip here. I'm going to go to 30% gray. Click that, and we'll see that it appears down here. We'll hit apply. We'll see that applied the 30% gray to the residential area here. And so now we'll just return to the table of contents. In the table of contents, you will see that the colors have changed, and that's true. We've got like 10% gray here and 30% gray here. And it's underneath the prop type. Number 25 says to reorder the layer in the table of contents using the following sequence from top to bottom. Camera pole on top, streets, parks is going to be next. So we'll drag parks here. Parcels, and then triangle. And that's basically it. That's as easy as this gets. How long has this been recording? 18 minutes. So within 20 minutes, you can have a descriptive map that shows, differentiates. And this tells a lot of information on here. This is, we've got parks. We've got, the roads that run through those parks. We've got the roads that run through these parcels here, and we can see that which of these is residential and which one's business, public or private. In the instruction, it says to click Save at the top of the program. Go ahead and save that. And I believe the deliverable for this is going to be you'll take a screenshot. My dogs are outside barking. Sorry for that reference about my dogs. I try to keep the noise gate on my microphone so it counts out background noise. So you may or may not have heard that. But anyway, the requirement for this Lab 2 assignment is just to take a screenshot of your map here, and that's what you'll submit as either a JPEG or PNG. So pretty easy stuff. Anyway, I'll let you go. hopefully you're able to reproduce any of this. If you have questions, go ahead and get in touch with us, and we will do what we can to help.